We recently put up a poll on our channel, asking how many brothers are still going strong as part of the No Nut November challenge. According to the feedback, 43% selected that I lost, and I am sure that the number is much higher than that. Firstly, shout out to those who admitted that they lost, because if you are not even willing to accept your situation in the first place, it's inevitable that you will remain the same. Unfortunately, our society has glorified sex so much that everything is just that. It's about how you can pleasure yourself. Remember, brothers, everything from the type of movies you watch, to the type of music you listen, to the way your favorite celebrities dress up has all been specially designed in such a manner to make you forget your virtues and end up putting sex on a pedestal. The red pill community often discusses the importance of not putting women on a pedestal, and rightly so. But I will go one step ahead and argue that the first step in overcoming yourself is to not put sex on a pedestal. Just compare our society now to how it was 5 years ago. Our elders, teenagers, and children are all hooked on consuming as much sexual content as possible. But coming back to the original point, I wouldn't be surprised if the 99% of men will indeed fail this year's No Nut November, and the reasons for that are many. Despite the powerful addictive effects that porn has on you, the reason why it's so difficult to quit is because most men lack the intellectual skills required to break the addictive cycle. Today, we'll discuss the simple ways you can take back control of yourself and easily go through No Nut November. But before continuing, remember that No Nut November is more than simply not spilling out. It's about mastering your urges, and there's no special time for when you can begin to master yourself. In fact, it's an art that you need to be practicing all year around. So if you have failed, don't beat yourself over it, because once you feel you have lost the so-called challenge, you are more likely to keep relapsing. Over the coming years, you will see the number of men who fail No Nut November become higher and higher. Because the modern narrative has taught us that porn and beating your meat are not only normal, but good and healthy. There are so-called expert doctors who say, oh, it's perfectly healthy. But you know the truth just as much as I do, that it's a complete and utter lie. One of the first steps in stopping the use of pornography, especially if you are addicted, is to simply add a pornography blocker on your device. Blocker X, who is also the kind sponsor of today's video, is by far one of the most complete systems when it comes to quitting pornography. Why? Simple. Because it's much more than a blocker. It allows you to connect with an accountability partner and a whole community of men who are on the same mission to quit the use of pornography once and for all. To date, the Blocker X community has over 100,000 active members who are all trying to overcome pornography. Just think about how good that is. In the real world, nearly everyone is a victim to sexual content, yet do nothing to solve it. On Blocker X, however, you have a full community of brothers who are actively trying to better themselves, and you can add one of them as your accountability partners to motivate you along the journey. The most common problem with other blockers is that they can be uninstalled easily. But with Blocker X, your accountability buddy will get a notification when you try to uninstall the app. In fact, you even have the option to go one step ahead and enable the feature where you can't uninstall the app until and unless permitted by your buddy. You can also block unlimited websites, apps, and keywords, and also access courses to help you with your journey. Blocker X is also a one-stop solution to quitting all tech addictions. I strongly suggest getting Blocker X Premium. Use our promo code AM to get 20% off on premium purchases, and also get a 70% discount on lifetime plan from the link in the pinned comment and description. I want you to listen to this quote and memorize it. Change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. Listen to that again. Change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. Remember, nothing in this world comes for free. The free sexual content you are watching is not free either. You pay for it with your masculine drive, purpose, motivation, time, and virtues. Just listen to the long list of everything that you sacrifice. In the moment, It may feel amazing, yet the unseen damage it has on you is far greater than any drug or substance. Beating your meat and watching filthy videos on the internet releases such incredible amounts of dopamine that it's likely that many of you have already burnt through a lifetime worth of pleasure. This causes the so-called withdrawal symptoms induced by prawn addiction that many men suffer from. But once again, your senses have been deceiving you. The real withdrawal symptoms are mild at best, and the reason why so many of us struggle with them is due to the constant brainwashing we receive from the media. I'll repeat myself more clearly. Prawn is nothing but poison that tastes good. When you give up prawn, you actually don't give anything up but pain. It's easy for us to think that self-pleasing with these videos is legitimately enjoyable, but the beautiful thing is that we don't actually like caving into these artificial desires. When was the last time you said to yourself, "Finally, some time for myself to watch my favorite dirty videos"? When you relapse, you feel miserable, and for good reason. You know you're not doing yourself any favors by indulging in pornography. You might be saying to yourself right now, "Oh, but the withdrawal symptoms are too unbearable." This is often the case when you think with your pornography-infected brain. But like any infection, it can be cured along with its symptoms. Think of your addiction like a parasite in this case. This little parasite has been feeding off of your sexual energy for so long that it needs you to give it food. The less you feed it, the more it will starve and eventually die. The withdrawal symptoms you feel are signs that the parasite is starving. Rejoice in the fact that your addiction is suffering. Let the parasite suffer more and kill it once and for all. Once this addiction is dead for good and your dopamine receptors go back to normal, you will realize just how much happiness you were giving up on. All those days you thought you were depressed. But now you will find delight in even the simple breeze of air, when the tree branches move side to side, when it rains, because your brain has come back to healthy levels. Just for a second, I want you to sit still. Take note of other habits that you are not addicted to, for example, smoking. Many people are addicted to smoking, but you are not. Now ask yourself, how is it that you are not addicted? Why is it that you don't crave smoking? Simple. Because you are a non-smoker. You simply don't smoke. In the same way, it's a psychological complete change that you must make in your mind. From this day onward, you will not label yourself as someone who is trying to quit pornography. Instead, you just don't watch it. Much like other bad habits that you are not addicted to, let your subconscious know that you are already healed of this addiction too. As the saying goes, your reality catches up to your thoughts. Make this complete mental change in your mind, and let your actions align with it. So brothers, instead of letting yourself feel empty and deprived during this month, you must go outside and experience the world in all of its beauty. The more time you spend alone is more time you listen to the demands of your parasite, until you ultimately relapse and feed it once more. So avoid being alone. Instead, go out and enjoy the company of your peers, hit the gym for some extra motivation, and above all, adopt a warrior's mindset. Some of you might not be able to experience social connection often enough to keep the beast at bay. So this will be specifically helpful to those who fall into this category. Whenever you struggle and feel like indulging, remember that those are the moments in which the addiction is repressed the most. Going back to the parasite analogy, whenever it needs food and causes your cravings to return, it will start to whine and cry out for your helping hand. When you relapse, you're practically giving it what it wants, to have a moment of silence, and basically giving yourself comfort. If you do the opposite, which is going through the discomfort of handling its laments, you'll begin to truly kill it from the inside. This, combined with the incredible power of patience, will destroy your addiction for good. And master the art of positive internal talk. The more you tell yourself this addiction is not a part of me, this is a mere infection that I'm curing, the better and more long-lasting the effects will be. If you are ready to kill the parasite once and for all, say it out loud with me. No more. Say it again. No more. You may have failed No Nut November, but you will not fail life. Look to God as your source of strength, and get yourself back together. By the way, don't forget to show some love. Tap that subscribe button and hit like for the algorithm. To see your next best way to level up as a man, watch these videos here.